and I are going to tag team the technology side. I've actually been in HR for about 15 years. Actually, I met quite a few of you already, so you know a little bit about my background. I use LinkedIn a lot for recruiting, so I'm going to show you a little bit about that side. LinkedIn is going to be one of your biggest tools for while you're doing a job search. So this is why we really want to spend some time on this website today. And again, during the one-on-one assistance today, if you do need some help setting up a record or you need some help asking questions regarding that, I will stay after and make sure to answer any of those questions using the computer and your personal profile. Charlie has a CPA and some additional experience. You're going to introduce yourself, Charlie.
Sure. I've been involved with Crossroads Career Network for about 4 or 5 years. The one thing that qualifies me is I've had the opportunity to search for jobs many times. So, and I enjoy helping other people, through that, navigating that situation. I first discovered LinkedIn in a job search in 2009. Actually, I started the profile in 2008 because my college-age daughter said, "Dad, you ought to have a profile on LinkedIn and Facebook." Well, what's the Facebook? So she was the one who got me connected on these types of social media. So it's really important. Tara's going to talk more in terms of LinkedIn recruiting and maybe what's on your profile. I'll look at it in terms of, as she said, networking, because I've had a chance to find people that I want to talk to or companies that I want to reach, and I don't want to go through the front door. I don't want to just send in a resume cold. I'd rather go around and knock on the side door. It's a lot more friendly. Can I borrow a cup of sugar? It's that kind of a thing where you're getting to know somebody inside before you're walking through the front door and making an application. So
we are also going to include the 3 ladies that have additional experience in LinkedIn, so they're going to interject here and there with some additional information on LinkedIn. So first of all, does everybody know what a LinkedIn account is? Yes. Hands? Yes? Okay. Do you have a LinkedIn account? Okay. For most of you, that's great. So that is your first step in job searching. Really what you need to do is take your resume and pretty much plop that into your LinkedIn account. So when we are recruiting, what we're going to be doing, and again, we'll go through a little bit more about the LinkedIn profiles, but the advanced search section up here is the thing that the recruiters are at least looking for. So you want to make sure to have as much information. Oh, that's lovely. Hang on 1 second. Technology connection is limited.
Church member.
It says limited. Do I gotta go to one of these?
No, just Elmbrook guest. That'll work. That's what you were on before, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Try disconnect. Reconnect.
There's always some kind of technology.
Connect automatically and click connect. See what happens.
Exactly. But what we do is we put in the type of person that we're looking for. So say we're looking for administrative assistants, we're going to type in administrative assistant. Our first connections will come up, and then our second connections. So anybody that's in our first connection is somebody that I pretty much have worked with before. Maybe it's one of these ladies. I don't necessarily know them very well, but I have met them and kind of connected with them in some way. So then if they have any administrative assistance experience in their past, then I can actually reach out to them and say, hey, we're looking for an administrative assistant. Doesn't show that you're looking for a job right now, but I would be interested to talk to you more about the opportunity that I have. So even if you're not looking for a job, your profile will always be up there, and then you can, thank you. Then you can definitely be out there kind of promoting yourself without having to actually promote yourself. So I'm going to go to the advanced section. I'm going to type in just a keyword, so administrative. And I'm not going to check on the first connection, second connection. Can you see okay, Rebecca?
Yeah.
Okay. Group members, any of that. I'm just going to do one keyword of administrative.
Do you have a professional account?
No.
You just have
So I'm going to search. So I have, actually I'm going to go back and do this quickly.
Charley has.
Yep. Charley has a few second connections here. The first one is Angela, and she is an executive administrative assistant. So I'm gonna take a look at her account. So even though she might not say that she's looking for a job, I still am kind of interested to see what she does. So I can see that she has an executive administrative assistant position right now. She's done that for 1.5 years. I might be interested to reach out to her and say, hey, again, I'm looking for an administrative assistant. Even though you're working at Kohl's right now, would you be interested in learning more about my position? So as Sarah mentioned earlier, that only 60 to 80% of the recruiters are not even posting their jobs. It's because of LinkedIn. We're actually searching out here. It's a lot cheaper for us to go out to LinkedIn or reaching out within our own network, see who's available. I don't have to pay for a posting. I'm going to reach out to Angela and say, hey, I would be very interested. So again, I don't have to post my job. I can just reach out to her. Sometimes she might even know of somebody. So if I'm not a connection of hers, I can just connect to her, send her a quick email and say I'm still interested to speak to you about this. She might not respond to me. She might respond to me and say, yeah, I don't know who you are, but for some reason you're looking at my account, so I'm going to figure out what you're looking for. The other people that you can see on LinkedIn is the people that have viewed you. Nobody's viewed you lately, Charlie?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I post on a lot of groups.
Okay, well, I can't see exactly where that is.
Where would it be if you're not using the premium service? How would you know that?
Right there.
I'm sorry, please ask that again?
She just answered.
Oh.
Thanks.
So who's viewed your profile? If you have a position that you're looking for, you can even put it in your top, say that you want to change your, where's your edit?
I think it's full screen. You were looking people.
So if you edit your account, you can, instead of your title saying what your title is, your job title, you can say seeking new opportunities in administrative assistance or accounting or something. And that way, if we're looking for something, again, those keywords will take anything out of your profile. But again, you can edit your profile and say for your job title, it'll say, CPA, for example. Otherwise, you could say looking for new opportunities, and we can at least say, oh, great, this person is really looking for that opportunity.
Having people view your profile and creeping on you in LinkedIn is a good thing.
Yeah.
In
Sometimes
Facebook,
people are afraid of
not
that.
so good. I mean, that's where there's different levels of security. LinkedIn, you really want to be known. You want to let people see. A lot of people set their profiles like, I don't want anybody to view me unless they're a first-degree connection. You've defeated the purpose of LinkedIn. Or they'll even make it limited to second degree. Just keep your LinkedIn profile professional, and you want anybody to see it. So that's a consideration. So I don't know if this got you what you wanted, but just go back to home. Anyway, there you go.
That's okay. Yeah, and where he was, you could see where several people are viewing him. So the last 90 days, he's had about 59 profile views, which again is a good thing. So if you wanted to continue looking at the people that have viewed him, so I'm not that familiar with this side of
I can't remember
things.
where, I've seen it.
It's actually lower. Yes. Below it, stuff underneath some of that stuff now.
Okay, so someone at YMCA of the Pikes Peak region just researched him. Let's go back to Rebecca Davis. Let's just say Charlie didn't even know who Rebecca Davis is. He could actually open that profile and look and say, hey, Rebecca, I noticed that you viewed my profile. Is there something that I could help you with? So I do that all the time. When I'm recruiting, let's just say I did look at that first one, that Angela. I just looked at her profile, but I didn't reach out to her. You can actually say, send a message to me and say, hey, I saw you looked at my profile. Is there something I can help you with? Yes, Angela, the original one I sent out to. I saw that you were an administrative assistant, and I was looking for an administrative assistant. Is that something that you'd be interested in speaking more to me about? So again, even though they viewed you, don't be shy to approach them and click on their profile and say, what were you looking for? I noticed that you viewed my profile. Yes?
To send a message, do you need the premium services
Nope,
Or
you
do
can
you-
actually send, you can connect to that person, although Charlie and Rebecca here are already connected. So he can send messages at any time. You'd have to connect first. Try to connect first, but when you try to connect to that person, you can send them a message saying, I saw you viewed my
Okay,
profile.
with the connection request, you can send, I know you can send a message, so
Yeah.
that'd be how you do that.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And thank them for viewing your profile.
Yes, for
That's,
sure.
again, it's a good thing. You say, oh, thanks for looking at my profile, you know, is there something I can help you with? So it's kind of a marketing tool.
Right.
So.
One thing related to connecting with people that maybe you're not yet connected to, but you know someone that's connected to, that kind of ties in with the networking stuff I referred to earlier. You can ask your shared connection to possibly introduce you to that person. It helps bring them a little bit further away from that outer circle, more toward that inner circle. It's going to make it a little bit easier for them to kind of work with you as to whatever it is that you're wanting to approach them about.
Yeah, very good point. And actually, I have received, I was in the middle of a crossroads myself and started researching companies, unfortunately pregnant at the time, so that was ideal. But started researching companies, and I didn't know a lot of the distribution companies in Waukesha area because I moved from Racine. I had a couple connections. I was very interested in one specifically, Buy Selling, I can't remember the name now, of course. Buy Seasons. Yeah, and I actually was very interested to work with them based on what I read off of the website. They weren't hiring for an HR person, professional at that point, but I wanted to reach out to
BUY?
Buy, yeah, okay.
reach out to people that I knew that was connected with them. I asked them for an introduction to the hiring manager at Buy Seasons, and I actually received a connection, and she spoke with me even though they were not hiring an HR professional.
So she can go to, this kind of covers part of the networking. For me, if I'm looking at possibly going to work for Buy Seasons or want to know more about them, what I can find out is, oh, I've got one first degree connection. There's somebody I know that is connected there in some way. 40 people in my network, I'm just one click away from them. And then they have 196 employees on LinkedIn. So I'm going to see who my first degree connection is. And he's not somebody I know real well. It's somebody I've connected with probably through Crossroads. But I could send William a message here, say, hey William, I noticed you are working for Buy Seasons. I'm interested in this kind of a situation or like to know more about the company. Could I buy you a cup of coffee and find out more about, you know, your organization? That way, and I always want to get face-to-face. This goes back to the networking thing. To meet me is to love me. You know, it's that kind of thing. If you get a chance to get together with somebody, sometimes it's easier to say, I'll just send you my resume and look at it and see if I can help you. It's really kind of a passive way. I'd rather be much more active and engaged with them individually, personally. So that's might be how I would approach this, calling, you know, emailing William and see if he could meet me. And just, you know, if he says, well, what do you want? And tell him more about it. Don't be
Passive aggressive about
yeah,
it.
I mean, don't be like hiding it from him, but that'd be just one way you could do it. So anyway.
And even though they're not the hiring manager, they actually know people at Buy Season. So again, my connection was not the hiring manager, but I did reach out to him, asked for that connection. I did get in touch with the HR professional there who was recruiting for positions. So they did give me an introduction, but at the same point, it was great for me to build a relationship with that first connection so that they could bring back, hey, I know this Tara, please go take a look at her resume or something if we are opening a position that she would be a great person to reach out to.
See, here's Brian Keller. He's the recruiter at Buy Seasons. Oh, he's a second degree connection. Somebody I know knows him. You know, and that's probably, that goes back to that William Sankey. But still, you know, that's a way you can find out. For me, I do fund development for nonprofits, so I'd be researching a nonprofit organization, going down saying, who's their director of development, who's in a position to be hiring somebody in fundraising. So anyway, back to you. Tag, you're it.
So,
You want to try going back to yours?
sure,
Got,
go a little back and forth.
see if it works now. Watch it all disconnect again.
Probably.
Yeah, see, I'm just gonna light it here. Are we on? No.
It's coming up. Maybe. Yep.
Yep, there you are.
So again, this is my profile. I actually look like that. I feel like I look like that at least. So again, if you're picking your picture, you want to make sure that pick something relative to what you look like now. Don't put something that was, 12, 15, 20 years ago. That doesn't really resemble you at this point in time. Because as soon as you walk in, they're going to say either that's not the person I met, or I thought it would be, or something to that point. So try to make sure that's a little bit professional. You don't have to have a cocktail in your hand or something, having a great time. You'd rather have something a little bit more professional, but it doesn't have to have that white backdrop on it as well. Make sure that you put your title. Again, your title can be something that you're seeking, something else. Make sure that you put your past experience, any education that you've had. What kind of questions do you guys have? Again, we're here to make sure that you guys are getting out of this what you need. Yes? Yes.
So the importance, so your LinkedIn page is rated. How do you get it bumped up to that top level? I think I'm an expert, I think, or whatever. How do you get that bumped up to the next level?
Yeah, the more you use LinkedIn, the better off you are. So connect to people, as many people as you can. Again, don't be shy. Doesn't even know if you don't know them, don't worry about it. The other thing is try to post to other comments. So if, for example, when you're on LinkedIn, you can see there's plenty of messages that are coming up. 10 horrible hiring practices that drive great candidates away. This is something that I would probably read, and if I had a comment or two, that's going to bump up my rating. The other opportunity is to follow different companies. You can become a blog writer if you really wanted to. There's a lot of ways to get into that. But it does help even from a recruiting standpoint, because if we are looking at your profile, let's just say I looked up yours, your administrative assistant, I'm just throwing that out there, and I saw that you were reading this article, if you will, and then that you commented on it, I would understand that actually after comments are being posted, any comments that are being posted, then I could say, oh, that person really knows what they're talking about. I'm interested to learn more about that person. So those are always positive. Read those articles, make your comments. Yes?
I think also getting recommendations from people that you've worked with in the past.
Absolutely.
That's something that I think LinkedIn does really well, because it's recommendations that employers can see without even having to ask for them. So I think a good practice is to kind of make a weekly goal for yourself to say, I'm going to reach out to 2 people this week from my past that I've worked with on a project before or a previous supervisor, and ask them to provide a LinkedIn recommendation for me. And right, not everybody's going to respond and not everybody's going to do it, but if you make that something that's a regular practice, by the end of the month, you'll have several recommendations that you didn't before, and that's one of the things that also leads to your profile being bumped.
Does LinkedIn still do the written recommendations? Now they just, so-and-so.
Yeah, and so that's
both.
what I'm talking about, the written
Okay.
recommendations, because the easy clicks, are cool, because you can see, okay, I have like 50 in, career coaching or whatever. But what is that really saying? It's just anybody can do that, right? So even if I haven't been a career coach for them, they can still, if I'm linked to them on LinkedIn, they can still indicate that. But if my direct supervisor, while I was a actual career coach, said, Sam helped so many students and the impact that she had on the organization was significant, that's going to mean so much more. So the written recommendation is what I'm suggesting that you kind of make a habit to ask for.
On top of that, if I know that recommendation, I can actually reach out to that person who placed that recommendation on you and say, hey, I didn't know you realized this, you know this person. I'd like to learn more about what you know, and I'd like to connect with you because I'm interested to explore more with that person.
If you go, LinkedIn comes up, and this is the home view you would have. And you're logged in as yourself. I go over to profile, I click on, if I'm Tara, my profile, and it immediately tells me I'm a rock star, all-star. Now, I am too, just so you know. And it says, hey, Tara, why don't you add a background photo? That'd be a really good idea. I have a background photo. It says, do you know any languages? That's something she could add. I speak baby, something like that. It's asking me, do you have any work samples or projects you'd like to showcase? Hey, good idea. So it'll suggest things you could do. And you work your way down, and you'll kind of see where there are things that you could be doing. Hello, how do you scroll? I know, I'm getting used to a mouse. I'm getting used to a Mac.
Yeah.
See, there's a post that Tara put out there. She has experience pretty well listed. She has a recommendation there from Nikki, so that's a good thing. Was that your previous job, or is that your current job? Now, you don't have your current job on there, do you?
I do.
You do?
It's just a little bit.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I see. This was the past. So she could add some information about what she's doing right now. Anyway, yeah,
A lot of my stuff is very repetitive on mine. So I didn't, because again, what recruiters are going to use is they're going to use that advanced keyword profile to look up information. So I'm not going to copy my current information from my past experience, because otherwise it's duplicate, it makes it very long. So my current one is exactly the same pretty much to the last company. So I didn't want to duplicate it and make it even longer.
Let me ask the experts, everybody weigh in. Do I put in all my positions back at the time I graduated from college? What do each of you say? Opinions?
I treat LinkedIn like my online resume.
And that
Right.
means?
So if there's something I wouldn't put on my resume, I probably wouldn't put it on LinkedIn. And I gear it more toward what my career goals are currently. So even though I've done work in mental health, if I'm looking to work in career services, my profile is going to be a little bit more career services oriented than mental health. You can still have those pieces on there because you're not quite as limited with space the way that you are on a resume or a cover letter, but I still try to gear my profile toward what my career goals are or what my job search goals are.
And you can't have two LinkedIn profiles because you'll lose a lot of the, I guess you could, but they'll find it when they're doing the search. Like, well, here's Charlie. Shirley's got a split personality. You want to, you want to make changes if you're really going a certain direction in your career. Make that. Anyway, so Tara, this goes back to January of '99. Is that when you graduated? Did you graduate from college shortly before that?
Yeah, shortly before that, sure. No.
So, anyway, mine goes back to June of 1979. Guess when I graduated from college? May of 1979. So, okay, you can tell how old I am, except I started college when I was 10. Anyway, so that's a plus and minus, but you want to have a picture as well. Always have a picture. They're going to see I've got gray hair unless I use the Grecian formula, and then I kind of fake it, but then they'll still see the wrinkles and all that. It's okay. Be who you are, because the minute you go in for an interview, they're going, okay, it doesn't look like a profile picture. And I know I'm in my late 50s. Edit that part. This is who I am, and if I'm looking for a job, I want to have somebody who's going to want to hire somebody in my place in my career. I hope I still have 10 or 12 more good years of working, so I'm not, I'm not going to be in there for a year and then leave. I know that's a problem. A lot of people who are getting late in their 50s, early 60s, and those of us who've been affected by layoffs and the Great Recession and since, that makes it difficult. So you've got to kind of reinvent yourself, and LinkedIn is a good way to show all the other things you do.
It doesn't hurt to also add to your profile or your posting or something that, you could tell by your picture. If you could even put there looking for another 5 to 10 years worth of employment, in specific positions. You could put part-time if you're looking for that. You can put full-time if you're looking for that. So don't be shy to put the information of really what you're looking for out there.
Tara's got skills and endorsements, and this is what you were referring to. This is the beauty contest that LinkedIn now is having, and it's where it'll pop up. In fact, did it say that at the very beginning? Well, it'll bring somebody up and says, hey, do you want to endorse this person for these things? I really try to be judicious. I don't just say endorse for all. If it's somebody I know and I think all those apply, I'll endorse them for all. Otherwise, I'll pick the ones I really think applies to them. And by the very nature of the popularity contest, though, I would conclude Tara must have some experience in employee relationships and human resources, just by the sheer magnitude of the bar chart and all these people who referred her. Doesn't mean she doesn't have experience in management or FMLA, but the people who've been making these votes on her popularity have not checked those. So perhaps there's a reason. I have
And
the same
actually,
kind of thing.
LinkedIn, it kind of makes you go to those certain sections. So as you were asking just a minute ago, recruiters don't look at that as much as they do look at the actually written ones.
Right. Here's, okay, there's education. There's the recommendations we were talking about. So, and you can even ask, hey, Joe from your previous employer, would you recommend me? And if they want, you say, and I'll email them, here's some things you could say about me. It'd be really nice. Who she's following. I'm trying to think what else you might have in there. News. Do you have any of your, any other thing, volunteer involvement on there? You don't? Do you? I didn't see it on there.
That's okay.
Let me switch over to mine real quickly.
I have a question on the recommendation. Is there a capacity on that? So,
I think there is a certain
paragraph
amount of number of characters that you can use. I just don't, I think it's pretty big though. I don't know how many it is, maybe 500 characters.
Okay.
Here's my profile. There's, see, profile stream, all-star. There's the edit, the background picture I've got on there, but I don't have some work samples I can put on there. It goes down, I've got the summary, got some pictures. Oh, I have a link to a video bio on my current employer's page, all my experience, they're really sad. I learned German. Anyway, I'm a CPA, that's something I could add there, and I did. There's the beauty contest. Volunteer. If you're volunteering, it says, I think, it speaks highly to, am I right, the professionals say volunteering is a good thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Especially if you have a gap in your employment, volunteer work listed is the most important thing that you could do. So again, not only from your resume, but from a networking standpoint.
It doesn't mean you have to volunteer 40 hours a week. Maybe you're there 2 hours a week helping out while you're unemployed or whatever. But these are the things I've done and been involved in the past. Causes I care about, just kind of gives you a better picture of who I am. There's my education, my undergrad, my master's, additional interests, things I like. And there are the recommendations. So some people have given me recommendations, and here's what I'm following. Anyway, we haven't talked about groups so much, did we?
We have a couple minutes
yeah,
that we can finish.
Under interests, there are these things called groups. And groups is a way to be connected to people who otherwise you wouldn't be connected to. You can go out and join HR. What would be a group?
Sure.
Well, where would I search for under groups? I'm going to search under groups. And what's the name of one?
SHIRM.
S-H-I-R?
No, just SHRM.
R-M.
Yep.
There. SHIRM. Society for Human Resource Management. So, hey, I'm in human resources. I'd want to go and join that group. And there's 152,000 other members there. Once I join the group, I'm suddenly kind of connected to all those other 152,000 people. So it's a way you can send messages to them. So it's a good thing.
Would you be connected as a second to them?
I'm not sure exactly.
A group member.
Just
As a group member.
Okay,
But
so
still,
it's a
it
different
gives you the
category.
advantage.
Okay.
For me, I'm really big into accounting, so I'm going to go, let's see who's that. Can I spell it right? Accounting, accounting principles. And I could go through here and look for all these different things about accounting, if that interested me. I did fundraising, and so I go to my interests, my groups, and you can be up into 50 up. You can be a member of up to 50 groups. I'm in 48, and that's a good thing. The more groups you're involved in, And if you post something or if you like a discussion out there on something, it raises your profile in terms of visibility. Question back here.
Well, just a comment from recent experience. I was kind of new to LinkedIn, and I'm out of a job right now, so I started plugging into it. And a message came up and said, would you like to look at joining these groups? And I said, yes. Well, send invitations out to all, 200,000, whatever else. And I get all these emails back, well, show us if you are, what experience you have in the mining industry. Well, I don't have any, but it just blanketed out. I was hoping that it'd come up and like you do when you go through a list and pick them. But so it's real powerful, but sometimes you gotta watch what you're clicking.
Yeah, blanket invitation, they're gonna look at your profile and say, you have those magic words in here.
Yeah.
Another question here real quick.
Charlie, basically a user question. How do you get your groups to appear? I have several checked off. I've joined.
There's a privacy setting where you can individually decide whether or not you want that group to even show up. You can join a group and not have it displayed to other people.
Sure.
I have a lot of activity. I have a lot of views on my profile. I've written a couple blogs for my company, and I post those on Facebook, everything else. But I also repost them on these various different groups, and then I get comments. And when somebody comments it, then somebody else sees it, and they like it, and somebody else comments. So it's kind of this, it goes viral. I'm not quite viral yet, but anyway. Okay, the other thing in terms of social, are you going to do another LinkedIn comment?
Nope, I was going to say that we're actually running out of time, but we're going to leave this up because LinkedIn is going to be very important for us. We're going to just take our last 5-minute break, and then we're going to make sure to answer all of your questions. So LinkedIn, after Charlie's comments here, we're going to take a 5-minute break after.
I am not Facebook friends with Tara, so this works. I said, I'm going to hire Tara. Let me go and see what she's got on Facebook. This is where you want to make sure your privacy settings are pretty strict. And all I can find on Tara is nice picture. Maybe that's her husband. Nice picture.
Maybe.
Anyway, let's hope it's you go, okay, what kind of photos are out there? I'm looking for, and doing the beer pong moment. Nope, not there. That's where you want to be really careful about what's out there, and comments a little bit, especially when you're in job search mode. Back when I was in job search mode, my sister thought it'd be fun to post a picture of me when I was a little boy doing some weird stuff, and they tagged me, and I was like, no, untag. And the next day she retagged me. It's like, untag. Finally, I had to say, don't tag me. No. Okay, we're done. Thanks. Well done, Tara.
Thank you, guys. So 5-minute break. We'll come back and do our panel.